I called Brandon Marcello the other day, and I'm on, Siri or whatever in my car. Sorry for everybody's phone I just set off.
Yeah.
And I just, I said, call Brandon Marcello, and it said calling Brandon Marcello.
Yeah.
Brandon Marcello of CBS Sports. That's got a good ring to it,
It
Brandon.
really does. Really does. Brandon, how are you?
I'm good. I'm all right. How are you guys?
Are you sleep deprived? Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much my life. I'm used to it.
I don't even want to ask you a question because it might not be the right one. What I guess it would be, what's the most interesting thing that's happened in the last 3 or 4 days in college football for you that you can tell us?
Well, I'll just say, it's amazing like how quickly things can change on the coaching carousel just in a matter of like really 24 to 48 hours just based off of one change of heart or some different type of development with one job. And you could literally just see, the chairs moving a little bit. And that's kind of what happened this past week. And then, you've seen it the last couple of days. There's other jobs out there where, they kind of knew what they were going to do. They were prepared, and they went after guys that they had targeted and knew that would take their job and maybe weren't getting interest from other places. So for example, like Kentucky, they fire Mark Stoops, which I think some people were kind of surprised by, but it was very obvious Kentucky had a plan. They went to go get Will Stein, the Oregon offensive coordinator, who's a Kentucky guy from the state there, and they got that all done within a matter of 24 hours. So, different strokes for different folks, so to speak. But, it's kind of funny how some of these jobs, especially in the SEC, the candidate pools were all so very similar.
That's one of the things I wanted to ask about was, you do have all these new coaches from the American Conference. And when you think of the University of Florida, even a job like Auburn, I don't know that you think about, well, they're going to go to the American Conference and get their next guy. And it's not like these guys didn't get big raises. All of them did. But did that surprise you the way all that happened?
Not necessarily. The most surprising thing from all this, to be quite honest, was that Auburn kind of lost track of John Summerall. He was their top target for several weeks. They had been talking for several weeks. Auburn administrators were even in his home in New Orleans a week or two ago. I've been told from our reporting, and I wrote something about this at CBSSports.com the other day about the process of just how all these coaches landed where they did, especially in the SEC. And because of Summerall's sudden change of heart, there's a breakdown of communication on Thursday, on Thanksgiving Day. That was this week. Yes. Last week. Yes. Yeah. Thanksgiving Day. Mm-hmm. And there was a breakdown of communication. There was some more kind of pointed questions being asked by Summerall and his camp about the Auburn job that weren't coming up the previous few weeks. And the Auburn folks were kind of like, where is this coming from? What's going on? And it started becoming clear that, it looks like he's slow playing it to maybe go to Florida now, because Lane Kiffin was not going to go to Florida. That was becoming clear over the last week and a half. And as a result of that, Auburn broke off communication that Thursday and said, we got to move on. We can't keep dealing with this. And Summerall heated up at Florida. They started working on a deal, got that done pretty quick. And so Auburn was sitting there going, who do we want to go to? And they went to Alex Golesh, who was on their radar as well, and wanted to jump on that because the feeling was that the chatter in the industry was that Golesh, who of course was in the running at Arkansas and was in very, very serious discussions, was potentially also going to weigh possibilities at Ole Miss. He was going to be in the running there as well. And so it was a domino effect. And I'll say this, long story short, if John Summerall ends up going to Auburn, like what seemed to be the case for the better part of the last 3 weeks, I think there's different head coach at Arkansas today. And I think there's a possibility that obviously there'd be a different coach at Florida as well, but you might also see a different coach at Ole Miss right now as a result of all this.
Brandon, there's a perception that, at least among some, that Arkansas lost Alex Golish, and that's how they got Ryan Silverfield. It sounds like, based on what you're saying right there, that's not the way it went down. Or did it?
No, I think what.
Yeah.
No, I think maybe what you're saying, that is what happened. But I think what you're saying is Arkansas blew the deal.
Yeah.
Like Hunter messed it up, and that's what some people have said. I mean, if
I
go ahead.
I don't see how you would say Hunter Yurachek, blew the deal. The fact of the matter is that Alex Golish was someone that was a hot commodity, was in discussions with Arkansas, and it got to a point where when all these other jobs opened up, or the attention changed as a result of Summerall's decision, Golish had an opportunity at a job that, frankly, on a national level is bigger than Arkansas, and he wanted to jump after. That's not necessarily a reflection on, the athletics director. It's just fact of the matter of where we are right now. Let's face the facts. I mean, Arkansas just went 2-10. Arkansas's never won a national championship in the modern era. Auburn has, and as bad as it's been there the past few years, they've contended for and won SEC titles. They've got a bigger NIL situation, more fan support, more tradition, bigger stadium. And that's just how it goes. Now, in the process of all this, is there a way you can put Alex Golish's feet to the fire and say, you got to sign something now and do this? Certainly. You could do that, but you can't change a person's mind just because you want it. If they've got something else in their heart and they want to look at something else, that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, you don't have leverage. I mean, if they've got other opportunities, unless they're worried that one of the other jobs will not be there for them. If they know they've got multiple opportunities, you can't convince them. Look, to your point, Brandon, when you talk about Auburn being a bigger job, like just in real simple terms, they have bigger stadiums at Florida and Auburn, and they have more football revenue. Like, forget about fundraising, forget about NIL. They start off with a much bigger budget. What we kind of maybe get caught up in Arkansas is we act like, well, we got to have a bigger attitude, and we don't accept the fact that we're down here. Well, that's fine, but we've got a deficit to make up that's not already built in, and 3 million people in our state. You can't just grow that. And so I think people misunderstand or don't understand that sometimes.
It's just, listen, I hate saying this. It's a very difficult reality that Arkansas and other programs like Arkansas are in now, because now money is so much more important to the success of your program because of NIL and revenue sharing. And yes, you have a cap that pretty much every SEC school is meeting at $20 million, and you share that. But there's other things outside that with the NIL through third parties and everything. Plus, as you said, just from a very baseline situation and the support and personnel based off of your budget, when you're dealing with the likes of a Florida or Auburn, and you're saying, hey, we need to put more money into scouting and more money into our front office, that's good and great. But the fact of the matter is these other programs have more money, and as a result, we'll have better situations. So that's just how it is nowadays. This isn't a situation where 15, 20 years ago, you'd get a kid to come to Arkansas because they love the Razorbacks and they were convinced by relationships with the coaches and everything, and they go out there and win football games. The fact of the matter is these rosters change year over year over year. I mean, the days where at Arkansas where you're able to have a Darren McFadden for a few years with Felix Jones and Peyton Hillis in the backfield, that's going to be very difficult to put together. I mean, just look at Ohio State and Michigan, Indiana. We're not talking about teams there who are like, well, this is the third year all those guys were together. No, they're like pretty much all new players. They got new starting quarterbacks. It's just going to be very, very difficult. And I hate saying it because I'm an Arkansas guy, and I've been getting ripped apart by people because they're like, well, what about Kenny Dillingham? I'm telling you, he's not interested. They're like, you don't know that. I'm like, I very much know that because that's my job. I talk to people. And that's just the reality we're in. But here's the other thing. Ryan Silverfield's a very freaking good coach. Speaking of Kenny Dillingham, I know him very well, and I talked to him the other day about Ryan Silverfield, and he said he's going to do a great job there because they came up on the same staff there at Arizona State under Mike Norvell. Very offensive line focused, very run-heavy focused guy. He's going to start in the trenches. More importantly, this is a guy that's going to work his tail off and is not going to sleep and not deal with just being average and good. And you're seeing it already through recruiting these last few days, as you guys have seen, them turning kids here in the state back to Arkansas, kids that Arkansas should have been going after in the first place. They're changing that mindset already, sending a message out there to everybody else in the state and in the region that you're not going to come in here anymore and take our top 3, 4, 5 players every year. They belong here. They're going to stay here. And if you look through history, here at Arkansas, our best teams, guys, have been the result of keeping in-state kids, the top-tier guys, in-state, and then also here in the region. You keep those kids here, you're going to win football games. Matt Jones, Darren McFadden, Peyton Hillis, guys I just mentioned. Ryan Mallett to a certain extent, leaving Michigan, coming back home to his home state. That's how you got to win football games at any school, anywhere in the country. Every school in the country that is doing very well right now, Ohio State, they got Ohio kids winning games. There's a reason for that. You got to stay home and build from within and then branch out. And I think Ryan Silverfield and Arkansas, for that matter, have a very good plan going forward. I think it's very clear that Arkansas in their hiring process had an idea and a plan of this is what we want the coach to do as soon as they get here. And Ryan Silverfield is bought completely in. There's no telling what kind of success Arkansas is going to have. There's no telling what kind of success Auburn's going to have or Florida's going to have with their coaches. There's no way to predict whether a coach is going to be uber successful somewhere. Several years ago, I would have told you Billy Napier was going to win a national championship at Florida. I was confident in that. And guess what? The guy sucked at Florida. It didn't work. And there's just no way to predict any of this anymore.
Well, you said a lot there, and it was great, and I appreciate the insight. I've sort of landed after talking to Coach Silverfield twice now, once on the show here yesterday and then 30 minutes on a hog pod yesterday. I don't know I don't know how to say this other than the way I'm going to say it. He just seems like a really good fit. Like you got James Franklin's going to come in here if you're going to really entertain him for the job, and he's going to demand all kinds of things that, quite frankly, you just can't provide right now. Ryan Silverfield's going to come in here, take what he has, and think it's the best job he's ever had and want to win more than anybody wants to win here and show the whole world that it can be done. And whether that works or not, I don't know. But if I'm picking the guy, like if you're picking a team or you're picking the coach, like that's the guy I'm picking if I'm Arkansas.
Yeah, and also, I loved what I heard the other day. He wants to build off of what Arkansas is providing him. And when he talked about, like, if I don't have enough money, then I'll go knock on doors myself and go figure it out. By the way, it really helps that his wife is a lobbyist, by the way. So it very much helps. He's got that type of attitude, that family ties there to where he knows he's got to go out and work the phones, go work everything and work the streets. The other thing is I'm looking forward to seeing how he handles things just in the state when things start calming down, drumming up support and all of that. Listen, I like Sam Pittman, but every time like I heard something good about him, I would get calls from people going like, he's just not like that. He's not exactly bought into this or that. I'm going, oh, don't tell me that. I don't want to hear that. Silverfield needs to go out there and connect with everybody and be very genuine about it, and let the proof be in the pudding. So I know everybody's down on this hire for whatever reason. I think people would be looking at this in a much better light if Silverfield won 2 of his last 3 games instead of losing 3 straight, because all of a sudden that record looks so much better. But you look at the consistencies he's had. He's won 29 games over the last 3 years. He hasn't been in the American Conference Championship. That's something you can look at as a negative, but he just wins. He doesn't have losing seasons. And Arkansas is not going to be able to be a program, you wouldn't think, but who knows in this day and age where you could turn rosters over, that could immediately go into winning 11 games or 10 games next year, especially in the SEC. But if you can get Arkansas back to a bowl game and slowly build that and be consistent, you can get to that situation where one day you're going, you know what? Now we believe we can actually win 10 games. I think Arkansas fans have gotten so frustrated because of how up and down things have been over the last 10 years and having a little taste of success here and there. And then meanwhile, seeing all these other programs having the success and just absolutely being dominant at times, where you get frustrated and go, why not us? Why not us? And if you ask yourself that and look yourself in the mirror and say that so many times for so many years, you're going to lash out and you're going to be pissed off about every little slight you think could be out there. And I understand it. I'm an Arkansas guy. But now we need to realize while we're looking in that mirror that, man, we've been pretty downtrodden for quite some time now, and we just need to get ourselves back on our freaking feet, start walking forward, so at some point maybe we can start sprinting.
Play the fight song.
Yeah.
Play the fight song. No, that's what we're going to say about Silverfield. Go ahead.
Now, and I was just saying, and Silverfield seems to have that plan in place. Again, the very first thing him doing is going to go turn these Arkansas kids and get them to commit to Arkansas after being committed to elsewhere long. That's the best first sign I think any coach could have shown us.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Brandon, great stuff. A great look at it. You've been in the weeds for months now, and I know it's been a really vortex of just a lot of information here over the last few days. So thanks for making time for us today.
Thank you, Brandon.
All right, see you guys.
Brandon Marcello,